Welcome everyone to Polke Ball. Welcome Dhawal Rathod. How are you? It's been a long time. Thank you so much for joining me, Dhawal. How are you?
ग्रेट 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 बहुत मजा आ रहा है आई मीन सेकंड सीजन ऑफ पोल के बोल मजा आ रहा है यार मेरे को दिस इज माय फेवरेट पॉडकास्ट पहली बार भी आया था वी स्पोक अबाउट मीम्स अभी
Oh,
वापस आ
you
गया
remember?
या
That's fantastic. Dhawal, today we are going to talk about Andrew Tate. What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate, Andy Tate, or Top G, as many of his fans call him? Like, first of all, when did you first find out about Andy Tate? Like, I did not know who Andy Tate was until like June of last year. Frankly, it's been only 6 months, but in those last 6 months, it feels like we have known Andrew Tate for like ages now. So, really, just start with that. What do you think of him? Where did you first find out about him, and in general, your feelings about him?
So I watch a lot of UFC, right? Mixed martial
Hmm.
arts. So I knew about Andrew Tate, right? He was a good fighter, right? But
Yeah.
he was not as active on the scene like any other fighters, right?
Hmm.
And then suddenly I found out about Andrew Tate through memes again. Uh,
Hmm.
funny enough, because then ऐसा वो memes आ रहे थे ना कि Facebook is banning Andrew Tate, YouTube is banning Andrew Tate, everyone is
Yeah.
banning Andrew Tate. And
Yeah.
then there was suddenly memes popping up saying Agarwal Sweet Shop is banning Andrew Tate. Machhar Panwala is banning Andrew Tate. And then I was like, ये trend क्या हो रहा है? Because I was active on
Hmm.
Twitter. I started checking the trend and then figured out that he was already exploded much before
Hmm.
people started banning him
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
every opinion that he was putting out there. And then I went back to check out his videos and what he was saying about masculinity, about how women should be treated, about how to make an empire, फलाना धमाका जो भी उसका opinion था. Then I got into this and I was like, this is sick. ये तो कुछ अलग level चल रहा है यार. From
Yeah.
kickboxing to where it was,
Yeah.
to making money, building an empire, and putting out his opinion on TikTok and everywhere. वो crazy था. That's how I found out about Andrew Tate. What about you? तो
Yeah.
कैसे पता चला?
So he was banned somewhere around August or something, if I'm not wrong, or way before that. And
Hmm.
this guy was banned like I don't know. I found out about him just like 3 months before he was banned. Okay,
हाँ,
incidentally, and of course, I found out about him via YouTube comments. The first
हाँ,
time ever I read about Andy Tate was like someone was like, I was watching this podcast and they were like, this guy needs to invite Top G. I was like,
hmm,
Top G? Like Top G
हाँ,
कौन है? And then
हाँ,
suddenly I look in the comments of the comments and they are like, कि Andrew Tate will be too much for this, this guy. This guy is a soy boy and stuff like that. So I was
hmm,
like, कौन है Andrew Tate? I'm like, ठीक है होगा. And couple of other times also I read about these comments, and I was like, this is something weird. I need to check it out. So I checked it out and I heard him talk. And funnily enough, I
हाँ,
never saw like Andrew Tate के channel पे जाके about Andrew Tate. It was always via someone else. Okay, like he
hmm,
had an affiliate program, if you know about it. That's how he
yeah,
like
yeah,
blew up
हाँ,
so
हाँ,
much.
हाँ, हाँ,
And उसके में I just got random clips and the algorithm, right? Like एक बार देख लिया तो you are just getting like Andy Tate, Andy Tate, Andy Tate. And I
हाँ,
started listening to what he was saying and I was like, bro, ये मतलब अनपढ़ लोगों का Jordan Peterson है. ठीक है, this is
हाँ,
it's the same dawai that is being
हाँ,
sold, and I was just shocked. Like, how is this guy not banned yet? Not because I don't care if he was banned or not. I'm just like, this doesn't pass in today's
hmm,
climate. This doesn't pass. He cannot say all
hmm,
these things.
hmm,
And when I actually got deeper into it, I was like, and Twitter is like the number one place. I was like, I started following
hmm,
Andrew Tate over there, and
हाँ,
I was this guy is crazy. Like he's just taken it to the next level. This is no
हाँ,
longer masculinity. This is hyper masculinity.
हाँ.
And then very soon, like he then got like banned, and I was like, ये तो होना ही था. Like see,
But do you think he got more famous when he got banned?
yes,
Because I didn't know about all his channels. I didn't know about his existence on internet in general, right?
yeah,
Other than of course UFC and everything. But
yeah,
then after he got banned, I think he got even more famous. At least that's how I got to know about him. Then that
yeah,
he was saying and putting out all this stuff there.
yeah. I completely agree. See, this worked, but he got incredibly lucky that Elon Musk bought Twitter. Otherwise, he was never
Hmm.
coming back. Okay,
Ah.
and ironically enough, sunlight is the best disinfectant, is what they say, right? And
Hmm.
he got all of this heat because he got into an argument with Greta on Twitter.
Ah.
ठीक है,
Ah.
वो शांति से बैठा रहता, he would have been on like one too many platforms, like
Hmm.
like YouTube, where you can't really interact with people in real time.
Ah.
It would have
Ah.
been good for him, like same with TikTok and stuff like that. वो फालतू में this guy went on Twitter, started doing natak, and he got fuss out over there. And yes,
No,
it
which
did
makes
work
me
against him.
think, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, no,
But do you think he's smart?
very
As in, not
incredibly.
digitally, as in he knows how to get the cloud, he knows how to get
Yes,
famous quickly, right?
for
Because
sure.
कैसा कि जो ही ग्रेटा के साथ उससे झगड़ा किया, ठीक है? भले ही उसका कमबैक ना हो, he didn't have a clap back or whatever,
Hmm.
it got popular, right? मतलब उसका
Yeah,
हैशटैग ट्रेंड होने लग गया, it got so many tweets and retweets and
yeah,
everyone was talking about it, not just on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, memes coming
yeah.
through,
We are
right?
talking about it.
Exactly, right? So he's in a way smart, right? Look,
Very,
as a digital marketer, I think he's very smart that way. He
very.
knows what content to put out and how to
Yeah.
amplify it. He's very smart like that.
Yeah, he's very
Hmm.
smart about it. And the main thing is like the allegations against him of like, being a criminal and running away from the cops and from the
Uh,
authorities, they were there from the very beginning. I was like,
uh,
okay, he's not just like a clout chaser. Like, yeah,
uh,
Admi potentially has some sort of like criminal allegations against him. And when I
uh,
read about that, I was shocked. I was
hmm,
like, "Ki boss, this is some serious business." And this
hmm,
guy is purposely in Eastern Europe and stuff like that so as to avoid jurisdiction and problems, legal problems that might arise. Those were some
hmm,
of the theories that were out there. And I was like, this is no longer just a character. This is a
hmm,
person who's actually probably doing and practicing many of the things he's talking about. So
uh,
that put him in the dangerous territory in my eyes, at least.
hmm. But उसका practice का क्या सी? Do you identify with stuff that he says? Everything, not everything. What's your opinion of him?
See, personally, I do not agree with anything that he says. Okay,
Hmm,
let's be honest. I do not agree with anything he says. I thank God I am not 18. Okay,
hmm,
is how I would put it.
uh,
अगर अपन 18 साल के होते ना तभी एंड्रू टेट होता ना वी वुड बी लाइक हाँ हाँ he makes some good points,
hmm,
but
hmm,
today if you have a shred of common sense you will realize this guy is a reactionary, he's an extremist, and
hmm,
he is appealing to our base emotions as men and especially boys and teenage boys, right?
hmm,
He's appealing to that and creating a market out of that. And it's no different from like pop exo and those other like rags that talk about empowerment for
hmm, hmm,
another
hmm,
category, but they are just extremist and demeaning towards other identity groups. I think he's the same, but he's just better than all of them at like really he really hacked the algorithm, right? There was no way you couldn't see Andrew to it.
hmm,
And what's the funniest part?
hmm.
He actually blew up before YouTube on TikTok. And अपने पास
Yeah,
तो टिकटॉक है नहीं,
नहीं
अपने
था.
पास मौज ऐप है, चिंगारी है, so none of which we are on. But yeah, like Narendra Modi, like he saw this, he foresaw this, he stopped and rooted. I think that's the best compliment we can give to Modi ji. But yeah, I would say that I do not agree with whatever he says. Like, but yeah, what do you think? What do you think about him?
there's a lot of stuff actually that uh, re- वो क्या बोलता है कि basically he wants teenagers or whoever follows him, right, to focus on themselves. There's a lot of stuff around him telling people to focus on themselves, on their fitness, on their mental health, building an empire, getting a goal in life, getting ahead in life. There's a lot of stuff. There's actually good stuff that I actually agree with. कि नहीं, लोगों ने focus करना चाहिए. A lot of people are like whiling their time away, not doing shit in life, don't have a goal, don't have an objective, right? बैठा है, कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. So वो जो बोलता है ना कि focus on yourself, do this, do
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
वो काफी सही है. That वो जो चीजें हैं that I agree with. That he
That is
says.
much needed, and I understand where you're coming from, right? And my analysis of Andrew Tate, like being like more than who is Andrew Tate, like which everyone knows about. If I'm not wrong, he was 2022's most Googled person,
Yeah, yeah,
just by the
yeah,
way,
yeah,
more
yeah.
than the Queen or somewhere similar around that number. And
हाँ,
my thing is, why did an Andrew Tate emerge? Okay, this is a guy who came about in my eyes because I would say men's voices have been repressed. Okay, even
हाँ,
the basic complaints are
हम्म,
laughed at, and like genuine pushbacks are also deemed as something of a wrong opinion or wrong thing for that matter.
Right,
So
right.
when you are demonizing who men are, you're demonizing normal boyish behavior, nothing
Mm,
illegal, nothing, none of the, no, by saying this I'm not condoning illegal stuff or harassing anyone or any other identity group. Basic boyish behavior, that boys are
mm,
hyperactive, okay,
mm,
or like men are just jostling with each other, or just like genuine complaints about how men have certain difficulties and challenges that are
mm,
honestly, like they are there, and there are certain experiences, as like we have discussed before, like during our personal
mm,
chats, right, which only men face. There are problems which only men face. When we
mm,
say that, that doesn't discount or degrade the experience of women. I'm saying that, right,
mm.
it doesn't, but mera bhi problem exist karta hai na. But if I am
Exactly.
saying something ki bro, I'm going through something, if or men are going through something, and you're gonna laugh at them, and you're gonna,
Mm,
like disregard that comment, an
mm,
extremist like Andrew Tate gets stronger every time you do that, because moderate voices have
mm,
been stamped. उसीलिए
mm,
ये, see, when masculinity is, shown as something evil, hyper masculinity is the logical response to it, which is
mm,
extremely unfortunate. That's my philosophical analysis of Andrew Tate. That's what
mm.
I feel.
Well, masculinity. Everyone talks about toxic masculinity. What do you is? Do you think masculinity is toxic? What is toxic?
I love being a man, let me put it that way.
Uh,
uh, I love being a boy, but the journey from being a boy to man is extremely difficult, and I made immense number of mistakes in that journey,
mm,
and I feel uh, developing a sense of masculinity is a process that can't happen on your own. ठीक है?
mm,
And if there are certain elements which you do not like about men and masculinity, you can't just keep calling it toxic all the time. ठीक है? फिर ऐसे फालतू responses आते हैं. So like an Andrew Tate and couple of other
mm,
people.
mm,
My thing is कि I'm not saying you should celebrate men every day, but
mm.
boss, don't demonize them. At every given opportunity. That's my only thing.
Right. A bit of empathy would be appreciated, right? So
Yeah.
I will. Around this time, when I was still working from home back in Nagpur, right? Um, so two of my very close friends, tragedies हो गया उनके life में. One of my very close friend, he lost his dad. Okay,
Wow.
same age
Okay.
as mine.
Bad.
He lost his dad,
Shit.
and just a month after, he got to know, like some time after, he got to know that his wife was expecting. So they were expecting, right? And he felt so bad that he couldn't relay that information, that message to his dad. At least, before he went away or passed away, he could at least know that he would have been a granddad. So he always rules that कि यार काश मैं बता पाता.
Hmm.
But then after that, he's the only child, right?
Hmm.
And then he had to shoulder all responsibilities. He was in the middle of his house being constructed, and then everything fell on his
Hmm.
shoulders because his dad was retired. He was
Yeah.
looking after everything, but then house being constructed, right? His wife is expecting, so uska bhi care karne ka, everything else
Hmm.
in life that he had to take care of. And
All
when
the
I
while,
saw
like that emotional toll of your father passing away, while that is in the
Exactly,
background.
एग्जैक्टली एंड वो ना मैं उसको रेगुलरली मिलता था जस्ट टू चेक ऑन हिम इफ ही वाज डूइंग ओके और वो बताता था हाउ ही वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बट ही वाज स्लोली रियलाइजिंग दैट ही वाज ट्रांजिशनिंग right? I mean, he was already a man, he was already a
Yeah.
husband, he was going to be a
Yeah.
father, right? But he could feel that transition, right? And similarly, another friend, uh, इसका शादी वादी हो गया, and then he realized that, you know, they discovered that his mom had cancer, right?
Oh.
And thankfully, she's doing well now. But
Hmm.
through that process, okay, now his wife is away from him, working in another city, and he's back home taking care of his mom, right? Also, he's running a business at the same time, which is very difficult.
Hmm.
And mind you, he grew up. His father also passed on very early in life. Uh, तो
Hmm.
वहां से transition करना, so that's what I'm talking about. ये masculinity वाले phase, and it's very difficult. What we
Yeah.
need from men is is a bit of empathy, not a lot of it, but maybe a bit of
Yeah.
empathy and understanding. That's exactly what these guys are trying to touch upon. Although Andrew Tate has gone off on a different tangent only now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then I
That's
also
that guy is like
uh,
powered by hate. I would say it's easier, right? To because and social media also works that way, right? Like if you say everything is great, you will get one like. If you hate on
Right.
someone or something, you'll get 10 likes and 20
10 like.
retweets.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and those algorithms they're built on purpose that way. They're illegal. 10 years from now, I'm sure there's going to
Uh,
be some law against that those kind of algorithms. But coming back, I would say that I am lucky, and I cannot speak for you, but I am definitely lucky that I had some good role models growing up. Okay, they weren't perfect. My dad, obviously, even if I never always got along with him, I was like, okay, most of
uh,
my understanding of what it means to be a man came from him,
mm,
right? And
exactly.
despite disagreeing with him bitterly on 99% of the topics we ever, even today, like 9 out of 10 topics, we are like, हाँ, मतलब आप वो करो मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. Even then I learned from him and I took the good things from him, and I'm really lucky I had him.
Mm,
It's not
mm,
easy, and for men, at least I'll speak for men only. You need those physical role models in your life. Okay, you need someone to tell you,
uh,
तुमको खुद से ऐसा है वो सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट नहीं आता रात को कि
right,
इंस्टॉल वाइल स्लीपिंग नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग यू आर अ मैन. It's a you have to see and experience it. वो उनके छत्र छाया में रहना पड़ता है is what I
That's
feel. And
interesting. No, so what you're saying is essentially guidance or direction होना चाहिए
yes,
life में. So
yes.
don't you think Andrew Tate is the guide right now for a lot of
Yes, and
people?
unfortunately, that's why is he the guide? He shouldn't be the guide. Correct. Society as a whole should be doing a better job of guiding men. Huh?
Hmm.
Like if we go down on societal metrics, people are like,
Uh,
oh, this change was long overdue. Really?
uh,
Like, come on. What are you talking about? Dude, like, come on. 90% of workplace deaths are men, which is
uh,
a shocking number. And I was
hmm,
like, obviously, matlab, the worst jobs are done by men. The worst
hmm,
of the worst. Like, मतलब तो ऐसा बॉम्बे में बाहर निकलेगा ना, मतलब सुबह 5 बजे रात के 11 बजे there would be like dudes like doing something on the street. Okay,
uh,
and like I mean work. Okay,
hmm,
कोई झाड़ू मार रहा है, there is some cop standing over there, and like
hmm,
someone is like cleaning the kachra, someone is like delivering milk or something. And
hmm,
we and as a man, I have this fear, right? Ki,
hmm.
bro, we are like literally 2 3 bad decisions away from doing that in life. So that fear
Yeah,
is always
exactly,
there.
exactly,
I to have
exactly.
it. I to have it. And I was raised by my dad by with
Hmm,
him telling me like, listen, you will have to
uh,
work till the last day. Okay,
uh,
like
uh,
or at least you work in such a way that you have earned enough till your last day. Uh,
uh,
as a man, like the way I see it, uh,
hmm,
if you have like a family that loves you and all, that is great. That is the best
uh,
thing that can happen to you. At least that's my
right.
way of looking at things.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
also remember, everything in life that you have is like a subscription model, and that payment that you get is the salary. Correct. Like
Hmm,
if you can, kuch bhi, like the house you live in, okay, the
hmm,
societal respect that you have is so
uh,
connected to how much you earn. It's not even funny. Like what were our salaries before MBA and our salaries after MBA? Suddenly, the way our own family members started looking at us differently. Correct. So what it means to be a man is actually also very much connected to how much you earn, and that causes a lot of insecurity amongst a lot of boys and men. Correct. And then
uh,
people like Andrew Tate come along and show
yeah,
कि
yeah,
देखो मेरे
yeah.
पास Rolex है, देखो I'm
Uh,
with a hot chick, I have a Bugatti and stuff like that.
uh,
And
uh,
he's even telling Greta Thunberg that कि मेरा गाड़ी ऐसा है. मतलब तू
uh,
पागल है क्या bro? She's against global warming and you're talking about this shit. But
uh,
again, why is an Andrew Tate needed? I do not think society does a good job of guiding men. I
hmm.
don't think so.
Yeah, true. I mean, what you said now, to an extent, that fear that you spoke about, no, that's
Yeah.
always coupled with that responsibility of being a
Yes.
provider,
Yeah.
right? Goes without saying. And what you were talking about, love, and it takes me back to that stand up or that very popular clip that's always on social media from Chris Rock, where he says that men will always be loved when there are conditions, right? Something around conditional love. That when you're loving a man, it always comes with conditions, terms and conditions. Okay, yaar, if you are providing, is then when you'll get my love. Only people who get unconditional love are children, puppies, and women, I guess. But with men, it's always conditioned.
See, I mean, it's a routine from Chris Rock, so obviously we have to take it with a pinch of salt. But the क्या बोलते हैं वो
Because you got whacked.
yeah, the message, the message, okay, is like clear from that. If you're a
uh,
man, you better earn. Okay, you better
yeah,
earn. You keep earning
yeah,
and follow all the rules. And people say men aren't judged by the same standard. I was like, do you know what happens to men who break the rules? Like, dude, people won't hesitate to punch you in the face if you talk too much. Okay,
हाँ
like
हाँ
literally the other day, like there was someone who was ready to get into an argument with me and was
हम्म,
being very aggressive because we disagreed upon किसका scooty कहाँ पे जा रहा है. ठीक है.
हाँ
So that's a different reality even we have to live with, right? See, men have their own struggles, women have their own struggles. ठीक है.
हम्म,
But you're not helping men by just discarding and disregarding our struggles, is what I'm saying. We are lucky we grew up before all this nonsense.
हम्म,
And as I said, I'm very happy I'm not 18, because at that age you're very easily, screwed with, in my
हम्म,
eyes. So
हम्म,
I think we are lucky. I would say the digital landscape that has taken place,
हम्म,
the
हम्म,
communication that happens nowadays is completely digital, more or less.
हम्म,
Like,
हाँ
point being, look at what we are doing right now.
हाँ
So usme I would say that setup amplifies the worst of
हम्म,
each person,
हम्म,
right?
हम्म, हम्म,
And that is why I think we see that so much negativity towards men in general,
हम्म,
for no reason. I find, like, come on, like, what's the need for that? And that's the only thing. I think the moment these social media companies start getting their act together, I
हम्म।
think this will not be much of an issue. That's my whole point.
वही फेमिनिज्म तेरे को टेंशन नहीं होता है कभी ऐसा कि व्हेन यू लुक एट दिस वीडियोस राइट किड्स बिकमिंग सॉफ्टीज एंड वोक्स एंड व्हाटएवर राइट कभी कभी मेरे को ऐसा टेंशन होता है कि व्हेन आई हैव किड्स आई जस्ट होप दैट दे डोंट टर्न आउट टू बी स्नोफ्लेक्स right. I'll tell you where I'm coming from. They say where I come from. Okay, I've seen my dad. Okay, move cities, coming from a village, and then making something of himself, giving us the platform. And then it wasn't easy for us either. I mean, it was still we were still better off than a decent section of the society, but there was set of challenges, right? And we grew through that. Now we're struggling every day, right? अभी ऐसा हो गया कि now with everything around ना कभी कभी मेरे को कंसर्न होता है यार व्हेन आई हैव किड्स आर दे गोइंग टू टर्न आउट टू बी स्नोफ्लेक्स ऐसा सॉफ्टीज तो नहीं निकलेंगे कि देयर वोक्स टेकिंग ऑफेंस टू गेटिंग ऑफेंडेड ऑन एवरी लिटिल थिंग मेरे को बोलेंगे पापा क्या बोल रहे हैं ये ऐसे नहीं होता है वैसे नहीं होता है एंड ऑल दैट एंड आई डोंट वांट
Oh my
ये जो
god, did
लोग
you just call me Kutria? Oh my god, my dad called me Kutria.
मैं तो मतलब दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग नो मैं मार खाने का वगैरह तो आई थॉट दैट वाज रेगुलर एंड इट्स लाइक पीपल कैसा कि अरे दिस इज वायलेंस एंड ऑल आई थिंक टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट चाहिए ये दैट्स हाउ यू स्ट्रेटन योर किड्स आई बिलीव इन दैट ठीक है बट यू गेट माई पॉइंट राइट ऐसा ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि यार तुम ऐसे नहीं कर सकते हो वैसे नहीं कर सकते हो एंड if you've heard that quote Joe Rogan also quite often says this कि hard times वो होता है ना soft times create hard men create soft times or what good times create weak men वो वाला जो है
Weak men create
that's
hard
exactly
times.
हाँ
It's a circle.
that's exactly
Yeah.
I feel that we are creating those softer times right now where we'll raise weak men or weak children in general and they'll create harder times subsequently.
Oh, so my thoughts on this, right?
Hmm.
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. But I used to feel that way, but I do not anymore.
Hmm.
Starting off with, like, corporal punishment, which I grew up with, excess corporal punishment in my eyes.
हाँ,
बहुत पिटा हूं मैं, and I'm completely against it. Uh,
हाँ,
but my thing is, but there has to be some discipline in the house, right? And so how
हाँ,
do you
exactly.
implement that?
Hmm.
That is left between, like, each person and being a parent, right? In
Hmm.
my eyes, I am against corporal punishment big time because of my own experiences and my own beliefs also, even without those experiences. But I feel discipline is necessary in every house,
हाँ,
and but it should not come at the cost of, suppressing a person's individuality, which I think
hmm,
happens a lot in Indian society.
hmm,
But on the other hand, your concerns are valid. Ki bro, ye log full softy niklega. But
hmm.
I feel that's the same thing our parents also thought about us. You have got it so good. In my time, like, we had like one radio transistor for the entire block, and that's how we saw how West Indies beat India in cricket. I was like,
But we
sucks to
turned
be
out
you.
fine, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Sucks to be you. Firstly, second, मेरे पास हॉटस्टार है.
हाँ.
मैं HD में देखता जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया हमको हराता है.
But
But no. Uh,
uh,
See, uh, every generation has their own struggles, right?
mm,
Every
mm,
generation has their own struggles, and every person has it within them to get past their own struggles.
mm,
And अंदर एक सी देर आर नेचर वर्सेस नर्चर नाम का भी होता है ना.
mm,
Like what is the nature of a person you can't control. Okay,
mm,
if
mm,
you as a person by nature are very aggressive, you will sort
हाँ,
things out. Okay,
mm,
you will hurt yourself and others also while doing it, because you are very aggressive, but you'll have to
mm,
temper it down. But
हाँ,
by nature itself, if you are a little docile, like ठीक है
mm,
चलता है जाने दो,
mm,
then it is very important that the way you're nurtured, you
mm,
are given that, garmi, so to say,
mm,
ki boss, no, you have to do this, you have to do that.
हाँ,
I
mm,
think my nature in general was okay. Beach mein tha, my nature was normal,
mm,
but the nurture that I had was very aggressive. Like in sixth standard, my parents had shoved like competition success review magazines in my face. Like, "Hey, पढ़ो ऐसा entrance exam clear करने का." I'm like, I'm 10 years old.
तो
You
तभी
know?
से ऐसे तैयारी कर रहा था.
अरे मैं आईएएस वगैरह, आई यूज्ड टू टिक मार्क लाइक वो एमसीक्यूज वगैरह होने का ना.
हाँ,
सो
हाँ,
आई वाज लाइक हाँ मतलब, एंड ऑफ कोर्स आई लव्ड जीके एज अ किड फॉर,
mm,
एंड लकीली आई डिड राइट. एंड माय यंगर ब्रदर सेम घर पे,
mm,
करेक्ट, सेम
mm,
हाउस. माय यंगर
mm,
ब्रदर फॉरगेट सीएसआर, वो टिंकल नहीं पड़ा रहेगा ढंग से, ठीक है.
हाँ,
सो बट माय पॉइंट इज कि बिकॉज उसका नेचर अलग है, ठीक है.
mm,
एक एक होता है, एक 2+2 होना चाहिए लाइफ में. Even if
mm,
you have the nurture, sometimes some people don't respond well to certain things. So as my
mm,
father says कि सबका नसीब अलग होता है boss, and everyone finds a way to
mm,
go through life. And
mm,
I don't think, I think life is too short to worry about कि, oh, if someone's gonna turn out to be a softie. See, as
mm,
long as that person is being raised by me na, I'm sure
mm.
they won't be any softie of any sort. उतना just dealing with me, they'll be like अबे यार. Like, एंड व्हेन दे गो आउटसाइड, वो होता है ना कि यार आईएएस, यूपीएससी पास हो गया, कैट क्या ही
हाँ.
चीज है, वो वैसे वाला हिसाब हो जाएगा. इफ दे डील विथ मी इनफ, दे विल गो आउटसाइड, दे विल बी फाइन. दैट्स माय वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट इट.
But then
या.
going back to Top G, what do you think happened with him? Why did he turn out to be the way he is right now?
See, firstly, I don't know if you know this. His father was a chess grandmaster.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
if not a grandmaster, he was like he was a competitive chess player for sure. Okay,
Uh,
so that's one. Even his mom was something, I'm forgetting what, but his dad was into chess big time, and he
uh, uh,
himself is like into chess, but obviously not as much into it as much as he was in MMA. He was a kickboxer, right? Andrew
yeah,
Tate.
yeah, yeah.
So kickboxing, uska scene kya hai na? See, as I feel कि you can't ascertain everything to your upbringing. That's such a bitch move. It's like,
Uh,
bro, like you took some decision because you had some ambition, and you
mm,
you had a choice at the age of 27, 28,
uh,
29, 30,
yeah.
35 ki, okay, should I do this, should I not do this? Okay.
Mm,
And
mm,
वो बोलते हैं ना, I chose the dark side. I think he did
uh,
that. He chose the
mm,
dark side. That's exactly what he did. And उसको उसका ऐसा upbringing में, we can't psychoanalyze him. ठीक है.
mm, mm,
My point is कि boss, I'm not worried about his upbringing. I'm worried about the upbringing of his fans.
uh,
समझ रहा है. उसके
uh,
जैसा पब्लिक काय को ये हो रहा है, बिकॉज आई फील ही इज, एज आई सेड, पढ़ा लिखा लोगों का, ही इज अनपढ़ लोगों का जॉर्डन पीटरसन. जॉर्डन
Jordan
पीटरसन
Peterson.
ऑल्सो, आई हैव लॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ रेस्पेक्ट फॉर हिम, जस्ट बाय द वे, in the last 1 year or so. None of his
Why?
points make sense to me anymore. Yeah, let's have a
Uh,
conversation on that too. I think none of his, when he first burst out on the scene in
uh,
2016, right? I was
uh,
like, what an articulate and intelligent man. You know?
yeah.
He has
Uh,
contrarian opinions. I don't agree with all of them, but 99% of
mm,
what he says, I agree. Great guy. And then
mm,
suddenly, I'm like, okay, it's getting repetitive. It's getting repetitive. Women are from Venus, Pinocchio, this, that,
mm, mm,
and then 12 Rules of Life came out. I think
mm,
Amazon bestseller, big time, like full on record तोड़
uh,
दिया. उसका book बहुत
uh,
successful हुआ.
uh,
And this is a guy who's having to teach droves of men around the world
mm,
that the first rule is to clean your room. Is that not the first rule, or one of the most important rules, like clean your room? Like,
mm, mm.
the fact that you need a Jordan Peterson to tell you that clean your room, stand up straight, do this, do that, is so embarrassing. It is
Bro,
absolutely
isn't that what
embarrassing.
happens in art of living also? Isn't that what Shrishi also tells everyone to clean your bathroom and clean your bedroom and do,
Yeah.
yeah, make your bed and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
So one
I've
of
been to
my,
Art of Living twice, by the way. I've been to Art of Living twice, and yeah, they do teach you some basics, but there's also
uh,
some sort of like spirituality gyan that they give you, right? To be fair, even
uh,
Jordan Peterson does that. He gives his own version of spirituality. But as I said, right, these are people who we are looking up to because our society in general has have not given us the tools to cope with our power as men, okay,
mm,
and our
mm,
responsibilities and our problems as men. Jordan Peterson, coming back to that guy, became very political. He was always political, let's be honest. I had
mm,
no
mm,
problem with his politics. Left wing, right wing, both are bloody idiots in my eyes, extreme
mm,
ones at least.
mm.
You know what happened to him that he ended up in Russia, right?
So I lost track of Jordan Peterson,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
मेरे को पता ही
So
नहीं चला
Jordan
इसके बारे
Peterson, like Jordan Peterson, in his
में.
own words, he
हाँ,
kind of got like into like he was taking medication and he got
हाँ,
too used to the medication, and he
oh,
was he was in such a bad state he had to go
हाँ,
to Russia, all the way to Russia to he was there for like 6 months, 9 months or something.
hmm.
He
To
was he was
cure
there.
himself.
Pardon me?
To cure himself.
Yeah, yeah. He was in Russia for that long.
रश रशिया में क्या होता है ऐसा? You
Yeah,
get
I
cured.
think he just wanted to get away from the US, right? He was a major celebrity over there, a major
हाँ,
celebrity in the Western sphere. He used to come to UK, Australia, and give interviews and big time interviews, interviews that would
हाँ,
get like 2 million views overnight. Okay, Channel
yeah,
4 interview, this
yeah,
and that. And that guy went over there, and what is the difference between this guy and some other guy, who gets into a bad habit and loses control over himself? And then he's coming up with another book saying 12 more rules to life. I was like,
हाँ,
bro, you literally broke almost all your own rules. You are a hypocrite to me right now. And currently, he is now a culture warrior. He's
हाँ,
no longer an advocate for men for me. He
हाँ,
is a culture warrior. And good for him, I guess.
हाँ,
But he's being very repetitive right now, because if
हाँ,
you have kept track of him, you will see that Jordan Peterson, uh, नहीं वो it's like फिर से दोबारा 2.0. The sequel is not as good as the original. Just like Glass
हाँ,
Onion, Knives Out, just by the way, pathetic movie. I hated that ending. But anyway, coming back to Top G,
exactly.
what do you think happens next to Top G? You think he'll stay in jail?
Bro, you know, right? उसका वो तीन, he already foresaw this, right? So उसने वो तीन rules बताया था, where number one he said he's going to get cancelled, which he did, which of course he was, right? Second, he was going to put in jail for something that the Matrix is going to make up, right? And third, he's going to get killed. And I was going to ask you if you think he's going to get killed in jail.
I hope not,
Because-
because that is like, let's not comment on that fact. But I can definitely say that this is not the last of his troubles. You know, this
By the
is
way, to which he also said that he will never kill himself.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
About
just
that,
in case how it comes out, right? What happened to Epstein, right? Where they said that they killed himself. He just said that straight up. Okay, bhai, I'm not gonna kill myself.
see, I was reading about this today on Twitter, and
Uh,
people are like, this is just like saying, because he's been allegedly doing so many illegal things, right? So
mhm,
it's like saying, Ki, I'm playing with a live wire,
mhm.
and hey, just by the way, I'm predicting this right now, I'm gonna get electrocuted. So
Ah,
basically, it's like it's easy to
yeah,
predict when
yeah,
you say those things when you actually know कि इसका तो बहुत high chance है boss होने का.
yeah,
So I will not give him too many marks for that, frankly. But
uh,
yeah, see, this had to happen. I feel celebrities need to temper their appearances.
mm,
Okay, तुम हर दिन main character नहीं हो सकते.
mm,
That's my whole thing. And
mm,
I think Andrew Tate was also again becoming more of a caricature than an
mm,
actual person.
mm,
And वो podcast circuit पे जा रहा था.
mm,
And this was inevitable. He just ended up arguing with one of the worst people you could argue with. Like Greta has come a long way. She started off sailing in the Atlantic or something, and
mm,
today she's putting like Top G to shame. I
mm.
mean, the life was so much better when I didn't know about either Greta or Andy.
Andrew did.
Life was so much better, dude. Like, you think social media was a net gain?
What a question to ask.
I think it was not. I think we opened the gates of hell with social media, and Andrew Tate is
Bro,
just
I
one of the
don't know.
demons.
Social media, I was still happy on social media doing Farmville, no? On Facebook. I still remember that. There was
Yes.
nice days. There was nice days.
Yeah.
I think it's with Instagram and rather even TikTok when they started introducing reels and all that nonsense is when we opened the floodgates.
Hmm.
राइट अदरवाइज मेरा क्या जा रहा था यार मैं रोज सुबह उठ के खेती कर रहा हूँ फार्मविल पे माफिया वॉर्स खेल रहा हूँ and I'm asking
Mafia
my cousins to
wars.
send me sacks of grain and bricks and all. But it was nice days, right? You were poking each other, saying
Yeah.
happy birthday, people
Yeah.
posting jokes and posts. सही था वो.
Sweet, innocent time.
But
I
वहां
think,
से
yeah, in the background though, you could see that the Cambridge Analytica scandal, मतलब
हाँ
वो तो चल ही रहा था ना background में. It
हाँ
was
हाँ
2015-16 time.
हाँ
Farmville though was I think 2010, 11, 12. I
yeah
think
yeah
after
long
that it kind of fell down. But
हाँ
yeah, life was much better then. And I would say, see, Twitter
हाँ
never really cracked video. Let's be
हाँ
honest.
हाँ
Twitter never really cracked video. Even short form video तो सवाल ही नहीं
हाँ
उठता.
हाँ
They bought wine, funnily enough, but they
हाँ
couldn't capitalize on it.
हम्म,
I still think it's not the formats that created a problem as much as just the algorithms of what
हाँ
you are promoting.
हाँ
ठीक
correct
If
yeah
you if you look at Twitter, it did not need any of the formats that you mentioned. All
yeah
it needed was like just वही content डाल रहा है ना, just he's putting it in text format. जिसको पढ़ना है वो तो
हाँ
पढ़ रहा है. So
हाँ
I personally feel it is just like social media was a net loss to humanity as a whole.
हम्म,
I think a big mistake, and we should be the Andrew Tate saga makes
हाँ
me question that how many more such influencers are there who have some illegal shit going on, man.
plenty there must be plenty of them it
Yeah,
must be like
Logan Paul is being accused of running a crypto scam, by the way.
yeah
Yeah, by
oh
CoffeeZilla.
if I'm not mistaken I cryptozo is it called right what chadash I think I was reading about it somewhere where CoffeeZilla outed this guy saying that
Yes.
it's a scam और वो ये crypto चढ़ रहा है तो हम लोग basically
वो तो है ही मतलब आई एम नेवर गोना गिव द एवरेज पब्लिक एनी क्रेडिट आफ्टर व्हाट आई सॉ इन 2020 एंड 2021 ठीक है
हाँ
because and for a host of reasons, right, host
हाँ
of reasons, the
हाँ
worst of which was crypto. I'm sorry, I'm done talking about Andrew Tate. I don't think I would want to talk about that guy for the rest of my life, or even Jordan Peterson for that matter.
हाँ
I
हाँ
really want to talk about crypto. Like boss, 2017 में मैंने पहली बार क्रिप्टो वगैरह के बारे में सुना. लाइक वी वर इन कॉलेज,
हाँ
इफ यू रिमेंबर,
yeah
एंड लाइक
yeah
क्रिप्टो दिस क्रिप्टो दैट बिटकॉइन yo and I'm not kidding, by the way, a fun story. I don't know the validity of it, but
हाँ
I was told there was this girl in one of the top B schools of India, and in
हाँ
2017 when Bitcoin really hit that high mark. 2017 में बहुत ऊपर गया था, if you remember, July August में.
20,000 something
Yeah, it had crossed that mark. That girl had
Mm.
apparently her portfolio of Bitcoin had reached somewhere around 2.5 crores.
What?
Yeah, and she was like, उसको offer आ गया था, but she
Mm,
hadn't joined obviously, and she sold it and everything,
mm,
and she just straight up sold everything, didn't join anywhere, and
uh,
she ended up opening her NGO or something, and she's working on the
H.
grassroots. Yeah, that's the
God.
story I heard from someone who's from that B school. But
Uh,
yeah, there are some stories like that. Like, and she was clearly a finance genius, right? Like, she knew what she was doing. Okay, like her teammates were like ABC analysis, Porter's five forces. She's like, "Hey, Bitcoin le baba," you know. So,
Bro, मेरा एक दोस्त है वो खरीदा 0.3 Bitcoin around the same time.
hmm,
0.3 Bitcoin, okay. He still had like as a TCS, CCS, he was like a regular engineer only. He had some savings. He bought 0.3 Bitcoin out of it back in 2016.
hmm.
End of story.
How
When
much
I
did
met
it
him,
cost? Like at that time, entry investment क्या था?
bro, it must be like uh, what 30,000 odd rupees or something, I
Hmm.
guess.
Okay.
तब
Hmm.
जब था ऐसा कुछ था. Okay, not sure if that's the exact figure. It's in tens thousands only. Okay, tens of thousands. And cut to when I met him last year, he very casually was just talking about who's doing what. Maybe ऐसा. So what I do was Reddit पे there are some subs, right? तो मैं इसे follow करता था. And just I was going to tell you about that how I was gonna actually going to talk about how much influence, like, do influences hold in everyone's life. Because moment Elon Musk would put out a tweet saying just sheep or yeah, fear don't do
Dogecoin.
the
I think he was supporting Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin to the
yeah,
moon.
Doge.
Yeah.
I made some money on that. No, तो मैं क्या करता था every day I would
Don't
just
tell the
follow these.
RBI, bro.
No, bro. But it was very little. I was just experimenting just to see what the fuss is about. But
Yeah.
then I was just following all these whales, okay? And what these guys would do, they just put tweets, like just random words, right? And moment they would put random words, these cryptos skyrocket like anything. And then you just cash out, right? That's what I was exactly doing. मैं क्या 500 रुपए पे डाला 1500 रुपए बनाया निकाल लिया. That's all I was doing. Okay,
हो
वही
गया
was fine
वीकेंड का क्वार्टर.
because I was winning. हाँ,
वीकेंड
because I
का.
was winning in life. ठीक है, तो मजा आ रहा था मेरे को. बट देन दिस डूड, जो मेरा दोस्त है, तो मैं ऐसे ही बकचोदी में बोल रहा था कि यार ऐसे ऐसे चल रहा है. एंड देन माय फ्रेंड वाज लाइक, ब्रो मैं तो बिटकॉइन जो है ना 2016 में खरीदा एंड 0.3 एट दैट. एंड आई रिमेंबर डूइंग दैट कैलकुलेशन. तब उसका वैल्यू वाज 15 lakhs व्हेन वी वर टॉकिंग, व्हेन वी वर हैविंग दैट
Hmm.
कन्वर्सेशन. तब बिटकॉइन का वैल्यू वाज 15 lakhs. एंड वी वर मीटिंग आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम, तो आई मेड हिम पे द बिल. लाइक तू भरेगा छुट्टी है.
So he invested 30 grand and he got like 15 lakhs out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Something to that effect, 30, 20 grand types. But he was sitting on 15 lakhs then. That's
Wow.
what the value was
Wow.
at that time.
Wow. उतने में you might get like 1 square feet in Mumbai ka house. So Bitcoin is still not enough, guys. Still not enough. Bombay real estate is the real investment. That's the reality. So coming back, right? Like crypto, like we heard all these stories, right? But I also know people who like genuinely invested quite a bit of money in that. And
Uh,
they were like, this is the future, bro. I was like, how is this the future? Because in my head, I was like, you're one of the dumbest people I know. ठीक है, अगर तू बोल रहा है फ्यूचर है, मतलब ये फ्यूचर नहीं है. ठीक है, frankly that was my that I literally do this, right? Like every time, I'm sorry to say
Someone
this,
says
but
this is the future. It's not the future.
it's not the
Never
future.
the
In
future.
fact, bhago isse. And I keep these people around me in my life. Ki if I really want to ascertain how bad it is, the situation, I go up to them. I take their opinion. Ki bro, what do you think of NFTs? Bro, अच्छा है, अगर थोड़े ढंग से किया ना हो जाएगा. मतलब तेरे को क्या पता बे, तू पेंट भी MS पेंट यूज करना आता है क्या तेरे को? तू NFT का बात कर रहा है, तो शर्म आता है क्या? So and that is the moment I realize ये scam है. Because
Uh,
if he believes it's good, it's a scam.
uh,
Okay, or if she believes it's great, this kind of trading, it's
uh,
definitely a scam. So I
mm,
was like, "Ki, nahi, bro, like this is no." And I don't even disagree with these guys. I'm like, "Ha, sahi hai." If you're my friend, I'll tell you that if you tell me NFTs are great, I'm like, "No, I don't believe you. You're wrong,
mm,
and I think you should reconsider." Because that person's my friend. It did happen. A friend of mine did tell me, "Ki,
uh,
bro,
uh,
NFTs are great." I'm like, "No, they're not." Okay, please. And sorry to say it, but you can call me arrogant, but I did never understood what the fuck they did or what they were supposed to do.
mm,
ठीक है, I was like, bro, मुझे क्यों समझ नहीं आ रहा है? And then I'm like these random weirdos in my friend list, they were changing their name to xyz.eth. I'm like, what is dot eth? Like, is there a new surname? नया community आ गया इंडिया में, गुप्ता शर्मा eth. Like, what is going on? And these people were like damn crazy. And on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and crypto is the future, this, that, ye, wo. We are coming up with a new low fee DeFi.
mm,
Like DeFi, what? Def who? Like कुछ भी अरे public course बेचने लग गया
uh,
about crypto. Like वो I'm like यार course बेच रहे हो तुम लोग. Like can the scamming at least be a little patient? ठीक है, कोई किसी को कोई शर्म नहीं. मतलब हम लाइक तो 2 महीना पहले ये बंदा डिजिटल मार्केटिंग सिखा रहा था, अभी ये ब्लॉकचेन एक्सपर्ट बन गया. जस्ट लाइक आई हेट इट डूड,
bro, my
एब्सोल्युटली हेट
takeaway
इट.
from this little rant of yours, na, the short rant is, लोगों को घंटा कुछ पता नहीं रहता. People don't know jack. ठीक है?
या
Everybody will say this is the shit. Next moment it crashes.
या
कुछ नहीं पता रहता है.
yeah, I seriously feel that we just be little careful with your money now. I get it,
हाँ.
like the 7% or 6% FD return is not good. I get I get it. I get it. But don't do this. Okay. Don't do this. Like be sensible. Do not invest in anything you don't understand. Understanding
Exactly.
things takes
हाँ.
time. I get it.
Time.
See,
Mm,
I invested, full disclosure, I invested in Airtel some time back because I was like कि बॉस, एक तो वैसे भी 2 ढाई टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर्स है देश में, एक तो
Hmm.
है Jio, okay,
Hmm.
and the others are like Vodafone. Though is like they themselves do not like. I don't know if they even consider themselves a serious contender at this point. I was like, there is no way Airtel goes down.
Ah.
Otherwise, it becomes a monopoly, right? So
Hmm.
I invested in Airtel with that understanding. Obviously, also reading up a lot about it, like going through some financial reports and getting an understanding,
Ah.
kya hai problems, kya nahi hai problems, and
Hmm.
then I invested. Even that, I'm pretty sure our like batchmates are gonna be like, Paul, कुछ नहीं आता
Hmm.
इसको, which most likely true, but at least there is some logic to my investment, dude, compared to like Elon Musk tweeted something like have some shame, some dignity in life.
Elon
That's
Musk
my
क्या बना है यार मैं तो
सबको
वही बोलता हूँ ना
सबको
influencers
एकदम.
now is just crazy. Sometimes I think how do people get influenced so quickly? Okay, when someone says something, people just get influenced. Like सोचते नहीं आगे पीछे. If you remember, Elon Musk just said कि अरे I am going to accept bitcoins for
हाँ.
in exchange for Tesla. Okay, nobody realized that he was already sitting on a lot of bitcoins. Okay, he was holding a lot of bitcoins. Okay, and the moment he said that, okay, Bitcoin shot. Okay, it's gone up. Okay, he made his money. Okay, that's how whales operate. He made his money. Okay, pulled out of it. Very obviously, okay, नहीं बताया रहेगा किसी को, but he definitely made money and pulled out of it. Then he said, now I'm not accepting Bitcoin, okay, because it's not eco-friendly. जो गिरा वो, जो गिरा, people like idiots who must have bought at highs now sitting on it, or maybe they must have sold in losses, and that's how they're fooling these people. That's how they're scamming these people.
The biggest pump and dump, the biggest rug pull I have
Hmm.
seen in the last 2 years was not of people's money via, like these shit coins and crypto coins and all. It was like people lost their minds in the last couple of
Uh,
years, if you
uh,
ask me. I think everyone just lost their collective minds. And some
uh,
people refuse to, like go back and get their minds back. कि ठीक है,
uh, uh,
during the lockdowns, you were allowed to act crazy, but अभी हो गया, खत्म हो गया हो, thankfully.
uh,
So now come back to reality, be a little normal, थोड़ा
uh,
शांति रहो.
uh,
I mean, but I also think it's a nature, right? Like gambling. I think it's a gambling thing, and people take that stock trading very seriously. Yeah? They
uh.
take it very seriously. The other day I called my dad. He didn't pick up. I was like, क्या हो गया? Like retired आदमी है यार. मतलब phone क्यों नहीं उठ? I mean, and it was a very normal hour. I called him. He calls me a couple of hours later. He's like, hey, sorry, I was like going through my stocks. Like I was focusing on that. I was like, come on, man, just I'm your son. Pick up. Like, people take this very seriously. I don't know what he's doing, but anyway, like all these people, and I know people who do options trading and all. यार मेरे को
हाँ,
तो समझ ही नहीं आता ये सब क्या होता है,
हुँ,
तो मैं पैसा नहीं डालूंगा. I'm sorry, the 6.75% FD rate on SBI is good
हाँ,
enough for me. I know it doesn't beat inflation, but what does anymore? Other than mutual funds, who are apparently
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
sahi.
तेरे को स्पॉन्सरशिप मिला क्या है पॉडकास्ट पे?
No, they got Sachin, they got Dhoni. They're like, we need another guy. They're like Paul. We'll go for. Dude, mutual funds I think is like an acceptance of defeat. कि
हाँ,
मुझे कुछ नहीं आता, मेरे को बस
हुँ।
एफडी से अच्छा रिटर्न चाहिए. ये लो
Like,
मेरा
bro, what
पैसा.
is the harm in playing safe? I don't understand. So,
नहीं, that's
again,
what I do. By the way, when I
हाँ,
say this, I mean this is what I do.
हाँ, नहीं, you know, with investing, no, people forget that's very basic. It starts with understanding what is your risk appetite. It's not about मैं कितना परसेंट बना सकता हूँ returns or how much can I pull out from whatever market. It's about understanding first how much risk appetite you have in life, how
Yeah.
much dent can you take to your finance, your bank balance, right? And then continue to move on and continue to invest. वो भूल जाते हैं लोग. People just look at the other picture कि अरे अगर मैं इसमें डालूंगा, स्मॉल कैप में डालूंगा, मेरा 20% आ जाएगा, मैं करोड़पति हो जाऊंगा, मैं कल रिटायर हो जाऊंगा टाइप्स. कि सेम गोज विद क्रिप्टो, सेम गोज विद एनएफटी आल्सो. People want like those get rich quick वाला schemes, वो चिट फंड टाइप्स वगैरह. This is as good as चिट फंड only.
Yeah, yeah. Worse than that. Worse
Yeah,
than
I
that.
think I think we as a generation are losing patience only in life. Okay,
I
towards
don't
wealth
blame
building or
them. I
anything
don't.
in general.
Dude, you open Instagram,
What?
people are in fucking Europe every week. Like, घर पे बैठो ना. Like, like, come on.
Bro,
You open
yeah.
your Instagram. Everyone is having the time of their life. Okay, you're telling me people are not gonna feel like a sense of FOMO. You think that's not
Hmm.
gonna happen? Come on, man. That's bound to happen. Okay, and we are still lucky ki, like we are privileged ki hai
हाँ,
thoda sa,
हाँ,
we have some money, we go here and there, which
हाँ,
is fine. Most people do not. That is why you have these buy now pay later sort of schemes which are gaining
हाँ,
so much traction
हाँ,
nowadays. And
हाँ,
you're telling me like a guy who's earning 20 grand 30 grand a month,
हाँ,
he's seeing all his friends chilling,
हाँ,
and तू उसको आके बोलेगा ब्रो मैं तेरे को 20% रिटर्न देगा, वो क्यों नहीं
हम्म,
लेगा?
हम्म,
उसको भी जाने का है ना, वीकेंड पे पार्टी करने का है ना ऐसा ब्रूरी में,
हम्म,
एंड फोटो
हम्म.
डालने का है ना, चार लोगों को दिखाने को. सो
Bro, that's what I'm saying. No, that's the crux of the problem. We've lost patience. And to what you're saying, that is instant gratification. And that's the word no there. कि हमको सब कुछ इंस्टेंट चाहिए. ठीक है, हमको ओटीपी भी इंस्टेंट चाहिए, हमको खाना भी इंस्टेंट चाहिए, हमको पैसा भी इंस्टेंट चाहिए, right? And that is why, that's what I was saying. कि as a generation, as a collective, only we've lost patience. We don't have patience in life
yeah,
towards building relationships, towards building wealth, for anything in life. हमको wait
yeah,
ही नहीं करना है अभी.
yeah. I still feel that is something. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying it became much worse because of social media. Okay,
हाँ,
like I'm not kidding. Like every time I open LinkedIn, I feel worse about
हम्म,
my achievements, whatever they are. I'm like,
हाँ,
यार ये तो ये कंसल्टिंग फर्म में चला गया यार.
हम्म,
दिस गर्ल तो इज लाइक अ प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर इन द यूएस. यू नो
हाँ,
आई मीन हम तो मुंबई में ही रह गए. सम
हम्म,
लाइक बेसिक ह्यूमन फीलिंग्स
हम्म,
की. Very nice, yeah. This guy is doing so well. Good for them. But what about me? But do I really need that on a bloody Tuesday afternoon? Do I need to go through that? I don't. Back in those days, like you just found out about someone, after like 3 years, like, अरे हाँ इसका
हाँ,
तो वहाँ हुआ, हाँ ये वहाँ
हाँ,
पे है. अरे क्या बात कर रहा है? बोलता oh okay. And then you meet the guy and that news is also old. So
हाँ,
today you find out if this guy or girl has employee of the month or not. Like good for
हाँ,
you, man. Like so I think that, so I get your criticism of our generation, but I will also like to point out
हम्म,
it's become much worse because of social media. you know I think we should know less about each other. That's
हाँ.
And ignorance is bliss will be the underlining statement of our lives, is what I feel.
No, bro, rather, don't you think it's been more like a medium for everyone to get nosy? वो तो ह्यूमन नेचर था ना. ऑलवेज पीपल ऑलवेज
Yeah,
वांटेड टू नो अबाउट दूसरे का लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है.
yeah,
इस सोशल मीडिया इज फीडिंग यू दैट ऑन अ प्लेटर, इज गिविंग यू दैट ऑन अ प्लेटर.
yeah.
Then why not? Everybody wants to know दूसरे का लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है. And then feel bad about why this person is in US or why this person is eating a pizza somewhere on the beach.
Yeah.
ऐसा कुछ.
I get
I
it.
was talking to a friend yesterday, okay, and I was getting an update about another friend. She was just casually telling me, कि, so एक दोस्त है US में गया, he's married, okay, and I was like, yeah, nice for him, good for him, वो गया है उधर, he's living the life, you American dream and all, and she was like, no, bro, because वो क्या करता है पता है, वो weekend पे ही पूरा हफ्ते का खाना बना देता है. और वो फ्रीजर में डाल देता है उसको. देन बिकॉज हमको टाइम नहीं होता है वापस आके बस बर्तन धोने का, खाना खाने का, ठीक है, फ्रीजर से निकालने का, माइक्रोवेव
Yeah.
इट, ईट, ओके, वॉश योर डिशेस एंड गो टू बेड. मतलब ये क्या लाइफ चीज है भाई.
My God.
और उसके लिए
Dude,
इतना
if you're
मशक्कत
gonna give
करता है.
me Friday ka food on a Thursday,
हाँ.
I mean, I'm sorry. No amount of dollars are gonna make up for it. I am sorry.
मैं बोला ये क्या सैड लाइफ है यार, यहाँ पे तो कितना 4 टाइम खाने को मिलता, गरम गरम मिलता, उधर क्या कर रहे है तू.
Bro, my wife asks me, she's like, roti thanda hai, chalega? I was like, हाँ चलेगा.
हाँ.
Because my dad is like, मेरे को गरम रोटी चाहिए. Every time, whenever he
हम्म,
eats, उनको सब्जी तो
हाँ,
चाहिए, रोटी भी
हाँ,
गरम चाहिए, नवाब. And I'm like कि यार ठीक है यार, रोटी ठंडी होगी तो कोई टेंशन नहीं है, माइक्रोवेव में डाल देंगे if मन किया तो.
हाँ,
But yeah, living abroad, there are certain things which are non-negotiables for me, and abroad is a huge. We'll do an episode on that also. How people actually live abroad and the only photos they put are of national parks and how their life is great. I'm like, no, your life is not great. I know that for a fact. So I'm like, okay. Oh, by the way, lots of people put photos saying they have BMWs, but I mean, full respect to BMW, but that is like having a Toyota in India, with all due respect. Like,
हाँ,
udhar,
is it?
yeah, BMW is quite common over there. You earn
हाँ,
100,
उधर तो लीज भी कर सकते हैं
$150,000.
ना.
Huh, I know people who have leased like Mustangs and all over there.
हाँ,
They go on cross country trips and shit. Mustang में, वो photo डालेगा Mustang में.
हाँ.
if he takes a
Part
cab
time.
na in New York, उसको cab लिया ना उसने न्यूयॉर्क में, he'll have to sell his father's house in India to pay for it. So I know people like that. But anyway, enough of the ranting about, like, jealous ranting about people who live in first world countries. Like, come on. We are such haters, dude. Just like the last 5 minutes was like hate, 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 hate.
It's not hate really, bro. But
It's not. I know.
मैंने
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah.
मैं सोचता रहता हूँ कि यार अगर ये बंदा कर रहा है ऐसा, if he's taken a step in life, okay, or decision in life, I'm thinking what was the mindset, like what was the thinking behind it, ऐसा क्यों किया यार तूने? Now this guy, this friend I'm talking about, okay, वो his dad का gold का business है in
Wow.
Delhi, okay, super loaded, very rich and all, but he decided he wanted to become a consultant and go to Canada. PR के apply किया, सब किया. His girlfriend was in US. उनको
Canada.
वीजा नहीं मिल रहा है. 100,000 struggles there. मैं बोला भाई तेरा बाप सराफा में है यार. What is wrong with you? तू घर पे बैठना बढ़िया, business कर बढ़िया जो भी है, and live the life king size, right? Like, at least how I would approach it if I were in his place. But then maybe उसका approach कुछ और होगा कि नहीं मेरे को कुछ करना है ये वो जो भी है.
देख, जिसके पास होता है उसको चाहिए नहीं, जिसको चाहिए होता है उसको मिलता नहीं है उतनी आसानी से.
हाँ
ठीक है, इट्स
वही
इट्स
है.
इट्स as simple as that. I know so many people whose parents have like well set businesses, and businesses in like turnover of like 5, 10, 20, 30 crores.
हम्म,
Don't want to get into it.
हम्म.
Like, nahi, lafde bahut hai. I was like, bro, give me some of those lafdas, man. Like, if the what are you talking about? Like, come on, 5 स्टार के नीचे रहते नहीं हो तुम लोग अपने वेकेशंस में. Like, हम
हाँ
लोग को इधर मेक माई ट्रिप का कूपन लेना पड़ता है just to like,
हाँ,
you know,
book a
like,
flight, bro. I am always waiting for Tuesday because City has that offer. Okay, hopefully City hears this and gives you some sponsorship. उसमें कुछ तो
ये
10% का आता है यार.
imagine going back 5 years ago, like 7 years ago, and telling yourself, telling a younger Dhawal, why MBA for this,
हाँ,
to wait for
वो-
Tuesdays and make use of my Citibank credit cards to get a discount on airplanes.
bro, at
My
least I'm sitting in
God.
the plane right now. नहीं तो मैं इसमें जाता था यार पूरा तत्काल तत्काल मार के या वेट
Yeah.
करता था कब वेट लिस्ट मूव होएगा. So
Uh,
life
Things are
improves.
better.
ऐसा ही है. हाँ,
Things are
things get
better.
better. हाँ,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, good man. Like, I think this was a great conversation, and yeah, we started with Andy Tate. I don't like that guy. I'm sorry, I don't like him. But yeah, he's very entertaining, but don't like the guy. We'll keep an eye on his trial because clearly there is something he's done,
yeah,
allegedly. Let's see what's that. And obviously, we spoke about Jordan Peterson. Peterson has embarrassed himself in my eyes. He jumped the shark. You should check it out after this, by the way. Whatever Peterson is talking about right now, उसका latest
हाँ.
वीडियो देख ले, 1, 2, 3, 4. तेरे को कुछ समझ में आया तो मेरे को बताना.
Bro,
मुझे तो
couple
नहीं
of clips
समझा.
that I saw, उसका ना ऐसा आँख गीला हो जैसे आंसू आने लगते
हाँ
हैं. He's
हाँ,
talking about men, how struggles and everything, men are
हो गया.
needed, this that.
Yeah, man, I've been
Couple of
struggling for generations. Will keep struggling. आप मत रो. Like, you तेरे को बुक बेचने का है ना, तो बुक बेचना, मुंह पे बोलना बुक खरीद मेरा. काय को ऐसा रोने का एक्टिंग करता है हर बार. इंडियन आइडल है क्या? So that's my that's my thing with him, man. And then of course crypto. Like, what a joke. By the way, I applied for like a crypto company in India. Let's not name them, but they've done well for themselves. But I don't know. Like, when I didn't get in, I didn't make it. When I didn't get in, I felt bad. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, good I didn't get in, because I don't think I really feel for that industry. Even if I would have spent a couple of months, I would have understood what they do well.
हाँ,
Let's be honest.
हाँ,
But I don't think I
हाँ.
would have felt really good about what was being sold, because it's not real. No, in my eyes, at
हम्म.
least, it's not real. So there's that. Anyway, last thoughts, like parting thoughts.
मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ यार, and I just hope that they broadcast their trial, so I'll see what happens. ठीक है. It was fun watching Johnny Depp and Amber Heard also. Anything for the guy Andrew Tate is, no, if they can broadcast that, no, live, and be nothing like it.
That would be incredible for sure. Thanks, man. Thanks a lot, Dhawal. Looking forward to more such episodes with you. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. Bye.
Chal, take care. Thank you, everyone, for joining Polki Ball. See ya.